Hi, you are here with Mel and Rea on Toasted, where we mix drinks and feelings. Today's topic is exercise, the mind and body connection. You wouldn't think that drinking and exercise go together, and yet here we are.
Here we are. And this drink is a special drink specifically for hydration.
So healthy.
So healthy. It has tequila in it. So we kind of came into this whole hydration thing in a funny way. We always were kind of about electrolytes and whatever. But then that was a bigger record than last time.
It's fun.
It'll be fine.
It's the ice.
It's just that's what my husband says. So electrolytes. We went on this amazing trip last summer and realized that in this amazing trip, it was going to require electrolytes, not because we were drinking a lot, because we were hiking a lot. And I found Element electrolytes for the trip. And Melissa, so then through a friend, she talked about Element electrolytes, and Melissa tried it, and she said, if I squint just right, it tastes just like a margarita.
It really did, the citrus one. We're trying the orange right now.
Yes.
I like the orange in water. I've not had the orange in an Element margarita yet, but I'm super excited to try it.
So I pre-tested this before the podcast because
Quality control.
I had to decide on the drink, and I knew I wanted to make it something healthy. And I read a lot about how tequila is actually a healthy alcohol. Instagram can't be wrong. And so I was like, okay, the healthy alcohol of tequila, and then electrolytes or hydrating. That's where it's at. And it does. You don't even have to squint with this. It's actually very similar to a margarita. So, and club soda. So it was the tequila and just a half a packet because the Element, it's really
salty,
strong.
Salty. It's like, why salt the rim? The whole thing's salted. It's so good.
Yeah. No salty rims needed. Okay. But here's my favorite part of this drink.
Oh,
it's when you stir it, it like fizzles. It just makes it kind of fizzly and bubby. Actually, that's not even my favorite part. My favorite part is actually drinking the drink. But I did test this beforehand. It's delicious. And I felt fine the next day. I think it's the electrolytes. Seriously.
Didn't you have this recovery? What is it that we took? Recovery vitamin, recovery after a concert weekend?
Oh, yeah. That worked amazing. Yeah. These are the things that I find in life.
Okay, so let's get into it. In a second.
Orange is pretty good. Oh. We had citrus before we started this.
I actually think I like the orange better.
I do too.
But I like both the orange and the citrus. For me, the raspberry was too sweet. Mm-hmm. No, not the raspberry. The watermelon was too sweet. Yeah. Raspberry was... I really want to try the grapefruit.
Yeah. Paloma.
Yeah. I'm hoping we can be sponsored by Element, but I feel like we have to have more than 50 viewers first.
Get on it. Get on it, please. Because I actually drink this with more than just tequilas. This is my daily drink. This is what I drink for my health.
Same.
So, at any rate.
Okay, let's get into exercise. Let's go ahead and start with the benefits of exercise and why we have chosen to exercise. Rihanna, why have you chosen to exercise? Just as a big picture.
As a big picture, for my health as I age.
Okay. I
think we know that mobility, especially as you age, is so important. And as women, bone density. It's important to lift heavy. Lift heavy. That's what they say. That's what they say. So I'm trying to keep in mind my mobility and lifting heavy.
So I've always said that I exercise to be strong. But really I just said that for my daughter because I was trying to be a healthier model than oh my gosh, I just want to lose weight. Really, I just want to be fit. Like, I want my clothes to fit. I like when my stomach has definition. But I also really, 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 really like bread and cheese, wine, and
this amazing drink.
Chicken. Oh my God. What are we talking about?
Our wives. Yes, wife. Yes.
Like,
and you were strong about the food.
Oh my God. The food. Like, sex is cool, but have you ever had a really good charcuterie board?
Oh, I have. See,
Okay.
yeah.
So, the Mayo Clinic has listed 7 benefits of exercise. So, I'm going to go through this list of 7.
Okay.
And you tell me which of these would not benefit us.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, weight management. Number 2, health conditions like heart disease, high cholesterol. Number 3, mood. Number 4, increased energy. 5, sleep. 6, you don't have to get too personal with this. I do believe that your parents are one of our tens of viewers. Sex life. And number 7, socialization. So not only, so Rihanna and I became friends because of exercise, but also we're going to talk about later how it helps your language skills.
I need a lot of help there.
So check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Okay. Sorry, I have note cards. This is what I do. I wish I had note cards in all social situations.
Sometimes I need other people to write them for me. It would be better that way.
Okay, so let's talk about our thoughts on exercise through our decades. So 20s, 30s, 40s.
Okay.
Tell me about exercise in those decades for you.
Okay. 20s, not. Let's see. 20s, no. I later in my 20s I exercised. In my early 20s I didn't. I then had kids, and during the childbearing process gained some weight, so then I decided to exercise, which consisted mostly of walking. That's what I did. I walked for my exercise, and it was great, and I lost weight doing that, and I felt better, and it was great. My babies or my toddler were in a stroller, and we walked, and I mean it was a lot of fun. We walked to parks, we had activity there. It was wonderful. Got into my 30s, and kind of like early 30s I kind of hit a weird lull in exercise. And then it wasn't until my husband was deployed in, I think I was about 36, and decided just the emotions and everything that go along with the deployment. I think I started exercising in the evening. We had a treadmill because we had lived in the South before and it was really hot. So we moved this treadmill here, and I started exercising in the evenings, and I found this amazing running plan that started with walking, and I built on that and I started running. And then my husband gets home from a deployment and he's like, holy shit, we're doing a 5K. And I was like, and he signed us up, and I did my first 5K, and it was incredible. And he and I,
A sense of accomplishment after any race.
right? I mean,
race, like start finish, not podium.
Yeah. I mean, I podiumed a couple times, I'm pretty sure. Just kidding. In my mind, I did. I was a winner. The one time it was just us that entered a race on the base, and we won. But it was also my best time. So in fairness, it was an amazing race. Whether anybody else was there or not, it was my best 5K. But at any rate, so he and I really took on this running partnership where he and I were running a lot together, and that's where
socialization.
Yes, and
building that bond.
Yeah, absolutely, and it motivated both of us. And then I think that's probably about when we started running together, and it created this larger group. So 30s were a lot of running built in with a lot of strength. And then there was some weirdness in between all of it, and I don't really know what happened, but wagons were fallen off of. And now 40, I'm climbing back onto that.
Wagons move real quick.
They're really quick, and there's a lot of jerking. Yes, and there's like balancing on the wagon, and you're trying to dishes come flying at you, and work comes flying at you, and kids come flying at you, and you just do the best that you can. So now that I'm in the 40s, and I'm really starting to feel the aging a little bit more, I'm like, okay, I gotta get back on track. And that's what I'm working towards. So what about you? 20s, 30s, 40s. How is the progression?
So in my 20s, I was a member of a gym. I was actually on an elliptical machine when a plane hit the Twin Towers.
Oh.
And I liked group fitness, and my husband and I lifted weights, but I really, really, really loved swimming.
Yeah.
But then swimming got me pregnant. Because I used the patch for birth control and I loved it. It was perfect. And with all of the swimming, my skin got super dry and there was some irritation with the patch. And so I had to go off the patch and I was like, do I want to try another form of birth control? And that's like a whole different level of investigation that women have to do about different birth control and what birth control does to your body and what birth control does to your personality and all of that. And I was married at the time and I was like, what if I just didn't replace it? And then I got pregnant like 6 months later. So,
but your daughter's amazing.
Then
I'm so glad you were a swimmer.
So after swimming got me pregnant, things become more complicated. I still lifted, like I was lifting, not so much before I was lifting at a gym with my husband, but then after I was lifting with my friend Jenny, and you know, my daughter was a infant, so super easy to just put on the floor on a clean surface. Yeah. She couldn't go anywhere, and just lifting.
When you were pregnant, did you continue to work out or did you stop?
I swam the whole time and walked.
I mean, you were already pregnant, so there was no fear of swimming.
Right?
Okay, good job.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yes, yes. Then in my 30s, I started running. And I started running for mental health. I went and talked to my boss at the time, and I'm like, we're 2 months into this year, and I am exhausted. I need something new. Like, I need. So I told my husband, I'm going to run a half marathon. And he's like, there's no way you can run a half marathon.
Challenge accepted.
In his defense, I'd never been able to run more than 2 blocks before. I'm like, wait a minute. Can I just walk? So I went from 2 blocks to 13 miles.
13.2? 13.1.
1.
Yeah.
And then,
that 0.1 counts.
So I ran 1 half marathon and I was hooked, even though it was terrible and my body went into shock. But then we started running together with Bobby. And it just was like this whole, the socialization, the exercise, all of those benefits that Mayo defined earlier. I was feeling them. And so my 30s were running. And I loved it. There's nothing like running.
The accountability.
Yes. There's nothing like running for me. As much as I'm like, oh my God, I don't even like running. There's something about running. There's something about running. Like the mental, the physical, the spiritual, like that I can do this. I really want to get back into running, even though it's going to look different. Because here I am in my 40s and everything hurts and I'm fucking done.
Okay.
So WebMD defines moderate exercise as activities that raise your heart rate and make you breathe faster. So shut up. You can talk but not sing. They suggest 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week or 75 minutes of strenuous exercise. Also, 2 days of strength, and make sure to vary your workouts because your body can get used to it. And now a word from our sponsor. So overall, 20s, 30s, 40s, what would you say is your favorite type of exercise?
Favorite types of exercise? Unconventional exercise.
What do you mean?
Gardening.
Okay.
Moving boxes. When we moved, best unconventional exercise. I mean, it sucked, but also I had to do it had to be done, and it was some damn good exercise. Hiking, not unconventional necessarily, but there's a destination and friends. So unstructured, I guess, unconventional, unstructured, something where it's almost like multitasking exercising. I think that is my favorite kind. I do a lot of kinds, but I think that is my favorite. What about yours?
So I would say in my 20s and 30s, I played a lot of volleyball, which is volleyball on a racquetball court.
Oh
my God, I loved it. I fucking loved it. But finding people who are adults because you have to have at least 6 people. So my husband and I are 2. And then we have to have 4 other people who have the same schedule as us.
Mm.
And then the courts that we were using we were no longer allowed to use. And so then we had to go to a gym and it was more expensive. And then finding people who would pay for that money. So I actually like group exercise. Which is weird because I don't like people.
Yeah.
But I love things where
like a circuit? Like circuit?
No.
Okay.
No. But like competitive.
Oh.
Sport. Oh. That I'm good at. I tried tennis and I wasn't good at it, so I did not like that. But I was good at volleyball, so I really like that. God, I had such a great start.
Well, you were doing volleyball for a while.
Yeah, I was not good at that either.
But did you enjoy it?
Yes, I really did. And then I like hiking because that involves friends, and I like running because that involves friends. Mm-hmm. I did run a lot on my own between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., which is hard when you have a regular, like 8 to 5. Mm-hmm. But those are my favorite times to run, and I love swimming. I absolutely love swimming outside.
Running at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Yes, and that got a little scary too.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was running with my Jack Russell, who's like 17 pounds, so not actually very scary. I did call her Killer instead of Bella.
There's a reason.
Just in case people were like listening. But I was running and there was a guy walking on the other side of the street. And I just happened to turn around and he was like underneath a streetlight and he turned and looked and he was staring at me. And I was like, that was the fastest I ever ran. So there are some concerns with running.
Yeah, especially as a woman.
Yes. Yes. And my dogs have gotten smaller. So I don't feel as safe.
Yeah.
But still the camaraderie when I run with you and when I run with Bobby, like there's a whole bonding experience.
Yes.
And again, I love walking, but there's nothing like running as far as the endorphins.
It's and being out of breath, pushing.
I did this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even watching people run.
Oh.
Like when I was watching your daughter in cross country and she crossed the finish line and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like there's something about running.
And especially I remember when she ran cross country and track and the overwhelming feeling I had because I looked at all those kids and I'm like, I know how hard that is. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing. Some kids, or some runners, you look at them and you think, oh, they make it look totally easy. They're not even, they're not even out of breath. I would die. No, they are where you feel at their level though. It's just incredible. So yeah, running.
There's something about it, which for me, running is so much about the mind. Like this, not just therapeutic, but like overcoming. Like I never thought I could run a half marathon. Again, I was getting exhausted at 2 blocks. Like, excuse me, can we just walk a minute? And I ran 13 fucking miles. Mm-hmm. And I've run a full marathon, 26.1 miles, with this spring. And it's like that overcoming obstacles and those setting goals and those, no, you don't think you can do it? Fuck yes, you can.
Yeah. Don't tell me what I can or can't do. I will do it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, as we go into exercise in the mind, like I went down a rabbit hole with this, with I had to stop a little bit because I'm like, okay, this should be 20 to 30 minutes of the podcast for our tens of viewers.
We appreciate you. Hi, Mom. Do that. Hi, babe. Kids, will you please watch it?
So, I don't know. I feel like I've heard this and seen this several times, but I can't tell you where it was. It was probably multiple sources, but there is no pill as effective as exercise for depression, for memory loss, for anxiety, for addiction. There's no pill that is equivalent to exercise. So Karen Miller and Caleb Layton at prevention.com report that 10 minutes of activity per day increases your cognition skills. And quoting a researcher, David Rubin, who's an MD and PhD, neurologist and psychologist, co-founder of Apollo Neuroscience, he found that exercise is linked to increased cognition scores, which means better working memory processes, specifically with planning and organization.
Okay, I know somewhere I have read, again, Instagram, I'm sure, because that is often my source. But there have been things that have said,
no, that's not fact checked anymore.
Oh
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay,
that's
this 10 walking after you eat, walking for a short distance, not even like you don't have to walk a long time, but walking after you eat is supposed to be so good for your entire body, everything.
Mind, body, soul.
Yeah, rather than sitting down and turning on the TV, going for a walk after you eat. Mm-hmm. I mean, and like I said, it's not a long distance. I mean, maybe it is the 10 minutes. Go for a 10-minute walk after you eat. It's supposed to be so incredibly beneficial for yourself. And how many people I don't do that. I don't do that.
My husband and I were doing that for a little bit. I don't know why we got away from it. This particular researcher had said that light exercise, 10 to 20 minutes, that makes a difference.
There you go.
It makes a difference in your cognition. And then Danielle Zickel from Runner's World. So she found a 2018 study in Scientific Reports, which is peer-reviewed, showing that those who are more aerobically fit have better language processing. Ooh. So if you've ever played that game Anomia, that's like when you have something on the tip of your tongue, like a word on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't get it out. Exercise helps you like connect that word to speaking it out loud, to what it means. Because cardio stimulates the formation of new nerve cells and blood vessels in the brain. So it increases the volume of your hippocampus. And your hippocampus is for language processes.
So when you think about that in terms of as you age, and we know that your mind, memory, cognitive skills decline as we age, how beneficial it is to continue with how beneficial that exercise is to aging, to the aging mind.
Exactly. So I feel like I need to say that this is word for word because I don't exercise, and also I wrote 2 grants this week. So my words are like, I don't have a lot left. So Zickel...
Grants are crazy.
Hope I get them. Zickel goes on to summarize a 2019 study in Nature, which is British and peer-reviewed, which found that endurance training increases white matter in your brain, which increases your communication skills. So, oh my gosh, I could go on and on and on. This same article continues to cite other studies that showing that when you exercise, there's this decrease in age-related cognition decline, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and even more studies connecting resistance training to functional brain plasticity. So the ability of your brain to continue to change and grow and learn, which leads us into consistency. Like, part of it is you have to exercise. So let's talk about our strengths and our struggles with consistency. You first.
Okay. Strengths. When I have time, I am amazing at getting in really good, really beneficial workouts. Being able to cover kind of the whole gamut, the aerobic, the anaerobic, the strength, the mobility. As I age, I know how important it is to have good mobility. Not that I'm like old necessarily, but I know that as we age, we think of senior citizens, fall risks, and mobility plays a key factor in being able to support yourself if you trip, if you stumble, if you fall. So just thinking of things like that, trying to get in all of the things, the walking, the running, the lifting, the yoga, the core, there's not enough fingers.
So bring home the bacon.
And also I think I bring home like the bacon bits. But the bacon bits are also important. So,
oh my gosh, so yummy.
Strengths are, when I have time, I'm pretty kick-ass at it. Like I'm pretty, when my weekends are free, like that is when I hit it hard and I get in some really good workouts and I'm able to spend more time. Really. And then, during the week I try and plan it out. My Tuesdays are a bust. Every other Wednesday is a bust. Every other Friday, I'm here. And so I plan around those things. I try really hard to plan around those things and try and plan during my week where I can get workouts in. A weakness is I will not ever be successful, maybe 0.1% of the time, with getting up early and getting a workout in. I know this about myself. I am setting myself up to check another box in the, hey, you sucked today box.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. The journey says, hey, you suck if you set
No, it's not. What is your intention?
Pursue my fire, but my fire is not there in the morning.
So that's okay.
Yeah. Very true.
Your fire can wait.
My fire can wait. It'll get lit up at night. So I know that my weakness is ever attempting to do a workout in the morning, and my schedule's busy. And some weeks are busier than others. So my workouts in the evenings get ditched. And honestly, I've been told many times that I need to, in the middle of my day, take care of myself and take a moment out of my workday and do something
like a meditation.
Thank you. Or a walk, which it's too hard to walk away. It's too hard. That is a weakness. That is, I'm not good at that. So what about you? Strengths and weaknesses with your workout journey?
My only consistency is inconsistency, which is not a strength. And that is part of my ADHD. And I get that. And I'm just starting to accept that about myself. Consistency is not a strength for me. I can't do consistency. I try and then I feel like a failure because I can't do consistency. So when I was thinking about this week, it really reminded me of that 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, that quiz that we took. My natural tendency is rebel, which my tagline is, you can't make me, and I can't either. And that's exactly right. Like a 30-day yoga challenge.
No.
I've gotten to day 20 and I cannot make myself do the other 10. I have done a 6-week weightlifting on Beachbody on demand, which I loved. I've gotten to week 5. I had to do week 5 2 times because it was hard for me to get to week 5. I could not get to week 6. Like I just, but I can't get there.
But you make the rules. You get to decide what that looks like and how many weeks it takes you to finish. So, not Beachbody.
Those are my rules. And Rihanna and I said this when we were marathon training, which for those of you who don't know is 26.2 miles.
It's a lot of the miles.
So this brought me into investigating Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies more. So, Ree,
Yes.
you're an obliger.
Yes.
Which means that your tagline is, you depend on me, and I depend on you to depend on me. So what does that mean in terms of exercise?
So when you and Bobby, or you, Bobby and Val, say, hey, let's get together and do these miles, or hey, let's go on this amazing hiking trip in Ireland, or hey, let's do this half marathon, or hey, let's do this marathon, I have to do it because I've committed, and if I don't, I'm letting you down.
Yes.
I don't care about me. I care about letting you guys down.
And that's part of her like self-care. She needs she needs that accountability for somebody else. So the other 2 tendencies are the upholder, who's Bobby.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's good at it too.
Where she upholds herself to a certain standard.
Yes.
But why am I not enough?
Because you're a rebel.
Fucking rebel.
Mm-hmm. Why am I in a one?
And then the other one is questioner, which, like, if you can validate, if you can answer these questions, then yes, I will follow this.
Why will I do this training plan? Because there's a half marathon at the end, and this training plan equals success in that half marathon.
Exactly.
You tell me, hey, we're going to do a half marathon. Do you want to join us? Yes, I
Here
can.
are the steps, and here's why it's important.
And you're like, mix it up. I can't run the whole time.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and link Gretchen Rubin's website below. I just ordered her book. I've not read it yet.
Ooh.
I know, I'm excited. About the 4 tendencies and habit building. But that's what I'm going to be using for my consistency because honestly, I'm really struggling right now.
Same.
I'm really struggling. So, in the mind that the only rule is you make the rules, let's go ahead and do a toast. So, finding what works for you to become the best version of you through exercise. So, to strong minds, bodies, and spirits. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Love you.
Love you.